What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot-type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, up, up several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Savings with Cathwell Stationery Services' unbeatable Easter Flash sale. Imagine slashing your office cost without compromising on quality. Yes, you heard it right. For a limited time only, dive into exclusive deals like copy paper at just $18 per ream and up to 18% off on essential office and school supplies. From sleek laptops and tablets to vibrant markers and highlighters, from sturdy office furniture to the latest office machines, Cathwell's has it all. Don't wait. Call us now at 442-5848 or 435-2277 or drop us an email at cathwellsoffice@gmail.com. Hurry! The Easter Flash sale is for a limited time only. Cathwell Stationery Services, where savings, selection, and service come together for you.
Yeah! Yeah! Whoa! Yeah, welcome to Ride Along Live for today. It is Wednesday on the ride. Yeah, man. All they want to know why I'm so excited. I'm always excited. Today is a special, special, special day. Yes, yes, yes. As you come and go ahead and share up the thing, share up the live and say, I share. We have a conversation for you. Yeah. Whoa. Better late than never. Anne-Marie, welcome to the ride. How you doing, Lacey? Oago. Here's what I want everybody to do right now. Do me a favor, please, everybody. Share the program and hashtag @followers. Hashtag @followers, guys. So everybody that follow you, everybody that read your posts, I'm doing it right now. They'll be able to share this, to watch this program because it's important. Es muy importante, para ver. To watch this program here tonight. Very interesting. Es muy importante. Oh, yeah. All right. Sharing. Today, guys, we have Mr. Hamlet Mark. Yeah. We're going to be chatting. But no, it's a different kind of conversation before you start. And you say, well, you heard Hamlet on GBN. Of course, you heard Hamlet yesterday with my good friend Cam Jones. No, it's different. We have a lot to discuss. A different set of conversation, a different type of conversation. Because the story that you're going to hear today are untold stories. You probably never heard it before. We're going to talk about it. We're going to chat. Share. Dodo Charles, you excited? Let me share a quick story with you guys, right? Let me share a story. First untold story. I've never told this story on Ride Along before, right? First time. Now, take a look at this picture right here, guys. Take a look at this picture right there, okay? So let's start from, where should I start? Let's start from the middle, because you guys may be able to identify the most elder of all of us in the midst, right there, in the middle there. His name is Black Wizard, right? Right next to Black Wizard, the person with the bright starry eye there that you're seeing right there, like I'm saying, like the person is saying, wow, I can't wait to see what the future would hold. That person right there is me. And of course, we have Shaka, my homeboy Sheldon. That was in the neighborhood of Holy Innocent. That was quite a long time ago, boy. Damn, that was a long time ago. It was because of this particular event that I just showed on the screen, this particular event, that I, your host, was discovered by an unsuspecting individual, because I didn't know the person. So I went there, and I used to do my thing. I used to extempo and all of that stuff. So I happened to win an extempo competition in this particular event that Black Wizard was holding in Holy Innocent in the past year, the Rec 3 they call it. And I was happy. I won. And it wasn't until right after this event, I got a call from a young man. I didn't know the individual at the time. And he said, and at that time I was 9 years old, by the way. I was 9. He said to me, Junior George. I said, yeah, with my little timid voice. He said, I have something for you to do for me. I want you to go down to Union Pasture, because I'm right from that area there, and do some coverage for a cricket match that's hosting there. So I said, well, what am I doing coverage for? He said, for my radio station. At the time, it was one of the more popular radio stations in Grenada called YSFM. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how my introduction to media started. The person on the next line that contacted me, that called me, is a young man a young man by the name of Hamlet Mark. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Hamlet Mark discovered yours truly. And if it wasn't for Hamlet Mark, YSFM, I probably would have been doing something else with my life besides being on television. So it was because, and it is because of this next individual, my next guest, that I am sitting here today talking to you. Let's bring him up. Let's talk. Let's chat a little bit. This is a person that I deem as a mentor, a friend, family, someone that I welcome into my home. He welcomed into his home and his family. We're very close up to a day like today. Welcome, Hamlet Mark. How are you doing, my friend?
Hanging in there and listening to you and your hype.
I believe that hype is real. That is an untold story that I've never shared before on camera.
You're giving me too much credit, man.
I give you too much credit. Well, I'll take some debit next. Take it back. No, it was because of that particular day, that particular event, right here in the Rec 3 at Holy Innocent, that you somehow discovered this young man named Junior George. First of all, Hamlet, I want to go down memory lane a bit. We have a lot to talk about. I think your video stuck. What a way to start. I think your video stuck, so we'll be back as soon as he sort out his thing. So yes, guys, as soon as Hamlet sort out his thing. Yeah, you're back?
Yeah, I'm back, yeah.
Cool, yeah. Hamlet, so I was saying, what was it about this particular event, this particular individual, yours truly, who had no experience in media whatsoever, what prompted that call, me at 9 years old, to do something as prominent as a radio broadcaster on your station?
Your bravery and boldness. I was like, that little boy is something else. Brave like hell. And I was like, and fairly well spoken to, from the community we came from. Sometimes we're not that well spoken. And I was like, there's something there, and I'll throw him into the deep end. Either swims or sings, you know.
And you know what?
And I say we'll know Sunday night when he goes on the radio. Yeah.
But Hamlet, I was 9. I
thought you were older than that because you're playing a big man. I really thought you were older than that. Yes, later I realized how young you were. I thought you were like 14 or 15. Seriously.
No, Hamlet, I was 9.
Because you are a little full of yourself, and I thought and bold and so on. So it's like, you know,
Wow, but the story didn't end there. So you happened to give me that opportunity
mm,
to be a radio to do the sports from Union, and let me tell you something, Hamlet. I made a lot of mistakes. I really messed up a couple times.
boy, you were nervous the first time. You were really nervous, and I was like, well, we need you already. We can cut all this right now. We got to figure it out, but right, you know.
Wow. So what really did it for me, Hamlet? What really did it for me is that day used to have something called. Guys, and I know we're going down memory lane, but this is necessary. Stay with us here. Used to have this thing called family. What's it? Friend. Something where family where in the mood. Fan club. That's what
Oh,
it
the
was.
fan club, the YSFM fan club.
YSFM fan club.
We are family. That
We
Sister
are
Flag song was
Yes.
the theme. Yeah.
No, listen, Jay, I'm not moving on until I get on to this. I have to get past this, guys, because I never spoke about this before and I have to do it. So listen, we will get to everything all you want to hear, but we have to get through this. And you were on the radio, you doing your thing, and one day you got up and you went somewhere. You left the station. You invited us to come up to the station, and I was there. And I watched you and monitored you. You press the button, you talk. You press the button, you talk. And you left and you went. And I was sitting in the room. And I never told you this before. You left me there sitting in the room, and your music finished. It ended. And I had to press that button. And you probably don't know this. I'm telling you now. I pressed that red button and I said, you're listening to YSFM. Boom. After that point, Hamlet, I was sold. I was done. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Just that 1 second, that time made me notice that this is it for me. This is it.
Well, yeah, you ate the forbidden fruit, but you survived, you know.
I touched it. What? So let's talk about this, Hamlet. You as a pioneer in media in Grenada, tell us about YSFM. And how did you start that program in a little village all the way in the back of Munich over there?
Even the station?
The station, yeah.
Yeah, that was what, 1991, I think it was. Yeah. Actually, we were covering, myself and Alec, because those days I was working with Grenadian Voice, and Melo had his walk around Grenada. Remember that disabled thing? And most of the song, Join Hands Together and so on.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful Saturday morning, and we were driving here, the driver, and I was the cameraman and so on, doing stills for Grenadian Voice. And he said to me, boy, you know, I think there was only one station, I think, GBN or GBC then, Radio Grenada.
Yeah.
I think there was Spice Capital Radio. And he said to me, well, this is a thing that's recovered live. Because it was so, you know, involved people and so on. It was such a good feeling. And he said, well, if only we had a radio station,
Yeah.
we would have been covering this live. And I said, boy, let's apply for one now. And that's how the idea started.
Uh-huh.
Right? And so it went up from there, and we eventually applied for a station. And by that time, I think Spice Capital came on. So there were only 3 stations in the market at the time when we started. You had Radio Grenada, you had was basically AM at the time, you had Spice Capital Radio, and then you had YSFM.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where the whole thing started, right? You applied.
Yeah, for the station. But I mean, of course, I was long in media before that. But I mean, that's a long time afterwards. Well, you know.
Right. What was your introduction into media before the radio station? I know you was a school teacher. You did a bunch of different things.
Well, that school teaching thing was very brief, you know, because I started out in media during the revolution, in the latter days of the revolution.
Right.
Right, as 16-year-old or whatever. I was at IFE doing A-levels, and I, you know, just around ending the first year, because a 2-year course.
Right.
And I saw this notice somewhere. I was applying for a job at the television station, Television for Grenada. And it was for a trainee editor, video editor. I was not even writing,
Right.
right? And I decided I'm applying for. I want to be in media. I want to be a writer, but I'm going to get in anyhow. I'm going to apply for anything. And once I get in there, anything can happen.
Right.
That
Right.
was
Right.
my idea. No, but I have to sell this to my parents because I'm going to school in St. George's. And I decided, so I went to them and I'm getting a job, but I'm going to finish A levels. I'm going to do it private. Because I know though, I said, no way you live in school and go and do this. So the
Uh-huh.
promise was, I'm going to go to do this job and I'm going to do my second year as a private student.
Uh-huh.
So I went in there and of course I was became a trainee editor. Um, and I tried to learn everything. When they had broadcasts, I went with them, whatever. And then one day, one reporter didn't come to work. And the manager said they wanted someone to go with the cameraman to cover something at where is Renaissance now? That was Holiday Inn then, some disaster management conference. I can remember, always remember that.
Right.
So I said, I'll go. And I remember because a couple of people were grumbling, you want to do everything. So I went, didn't understand, I just had to go take some notes and bring it back. So I went, I came back, I wrote a story,
Right.
gave it to the lady. At some point, she called me in the office and said to me, you wrote that? And I paused because I wonder what I did wrong. She asked me 3 times. I was kind of worried. You wrote that?
Uh-huh.
Like, and then finally, I said, seriously, I said, yeah. She said, that's a damn good story. Yeah. And from that day, I was in the newsroom. And 3 months later, they made me head of news. And I was the youngest person there. I was a teenager, like 17 years. They made me head of news after 3 months,
Wow.
right? And then the television station were having some equipment problems, technical problems. And they were sending people to different places in the government because, working for the government because it was the government station. And they say, but this guy has to go to the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good. So they sent me to Radio Free Grenada. And a couple of months later, they called me and tell me they're sending me to Germany.
Oh.
Right? So and I always give that story to people when they go to work. Right? I could have said, they paid me to be a new video editor.
Right.
So it's not my work to go and cover anything or whatever. No, I didn't have that attitude. Right? I was going to do any and everything they wanted because I just love that. Remember that time, right? I remember that time. I started working in TV and I didn't have a television home. In fact, I didn't have electricity home. We were living in Munich, and of course it was in those days you had no electricity I studied by lamp and so on, and that, you had battery powered radios and we had no television. There were two televisions in the whole of the village.
Uh-huh.
Because Mr. Kelly's had a television.
A black and white one.
Yeah, it was black and white. And they had a generator. So they put the generator on at night.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And someone used to go and stand in the veranda and peep through the window to watch the TV. Right? It was those days you got TTT from Trinidad and you got CBC from Barbados.
Yeah.
You had your antennas and you had to turn it to get Barbados and then turn it to get Trinidad and go outside, hold that there with signal kind of thing.
And the further back you go, the clearer you see it. You have to go
right.
Look at that man in the TV there.
Right. So I started there, right? And then how she got into teaching, I came back in December 1983. That's like 3 months after the invasion.
Right.
Of course, by then I came back, everything changed. There was no Radio Free Grenada or anything like that. But as far as I'm concerned, I was working with the state station. So I came back and I reported to Radio Grenada. By the time they got on Scott Street.
Yeah.
And Jerry went to him, there's no job here for me. Just like that. So I was doing some freelance reporting at the time for Interpress Service.
Uh-huh.
Right? But one day I went up to the convent to drop something for Sister Gabrielle, because she's from Munich.
Yes.
Somebody gave me something to drop for her. And then I went in there and she said, you did history A level, right? And I said, yes. And she said, well, what are you doing these days? I said, I'm doing some freelance What? She said, well, I want a history teacher for a term and a half because the lady's going on maternity leave.
Right.
And I said, okay, yeah, I want the job. So I started teaching at the convent in St. George's for a term and a half. And then the summer came, of course, and the lady was going to come back in September. So that was the end of the stay. So I was in Munich hanging out stuff during the summer by the shop. And Loftus Macmillan, who was the principal of the school in Munich, said to me, your brother is going to the to teachers college and he wants a teacher.
Right.
So I said, okay, we're going to do it. So I got the job at Holy Cross in Munich. And I'm a young guy, and he put me immediately on arrival to teach the common entrance class.
Oh, from 5?
That, standard 5. That had the senior teachers in uproar because that has never happened. A junior guy just come in and he's going to teach a common entrance class. He had absolute confidence in me. So I taught the common entrance class. Right? Dr. Devon Francis now was one of the students in the common entrance class. And so I was there, and we did news boards and all kind of things in the school. We did it differently, so everybody was different, and everybody was excited and so on. And we formed choirs and we did stuff, and I began to enjoy the teaching actually. I was beginning to have fun, even though that was not on my radar initially. But one day, the principal called me in and laughed us and said, "Mr. Brizan called." He was the education minister at the time, George Brizan.
George Brizan. Education minister, yes.
Yeah. And he wants you to come to help them with the party people. That was called the National, right? Because remember, the original NNP had all the folks in. Oh, you had George Brizan, Francis Alexis, Robert Blaze, Ben Jones, Keith Mitchell, all those guys were in the Tillman Thomas, all on that original NNP. So I said, okay, well, what I'll do, I have to send in my resignation. What they needed, a month's notice or whatever. He said, no, he wants you to start on Monday. That was Friday talking to me here. I said, well, how that will work? Because I'm working here, I'll have to resign or something. He said, the man of the education minister, he'll be around. So I went to the national people, but because I always wanted to get back into journalism after that short break, after I came from Germany after the revolution. And of course, after they didn't accept me back in the radio station, I did some freelance, I did some teaching, but deep down it's journalism I wanted to do. So anything I wanted to do. So I went to the national paper, myself and Leslie McQueen. Right? I was Leslie's boss. Only see him tell him that. Right? Right? And
Leslie McQueen in Florida?
Yeah, Leslie McQueen in Florida. That was my brethren. Yeah, man. We used to when we finished the paper, I used to be making lime juice and stuff. And
Leslie!
Yeah, you must tell Leslie about that.
Yeah.
So, and then Mr. Pierce saw me around in press conferences and so on. And he came to me one day and he said, I like your style. You're different and so on.
Right.
I want you to work for me. That's the Good Indian Voice. I want you to make it the strawberry to the Good Indian Voice.
Right.
I said, okay, I'm into it because I want to get back to mainstream journalism because, of course, the National is just a party paper. Right? So I called Mr. Brizan and I told him, listen, Mr. Fair asked me to work for him and I wanted to go. He said, fine, whatever you want to do at school, fine. So I left and go to Voice. And he said to me, I'm hiring you and I'm sending to a course right away because there's a course coming up in Bible. It's a 3-month writing course. And I want to send you to that. So my first 3 months working at the Green Voice was actually at a course in Bible. So he had me to working for him effectively the Monday. I left the Sunday for Barbados. So I spent the first 3 months working for Voice in Barbados at a course there. So that's where it started. And then, I was doing basic reporting. And one time I told Mr. P I want to do a column. So I started writing a column called Notes from All Around. That sound familiar?
Notes from all around. We go get into the notes from all around. Yes.
And I remember one time he called me in and said, you know something? I said, what? I said, you know you're good, right? Mr. Prayer, a little skinny guy from America. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, you're gonna be very good. He said, you're gonna be very good, right? So that is where all the media thing started. And then I started to write for the Nation had a thing called EC News.
Right.
the Eastern Caribbean newspaper, and I started to write for that. And I tell you how I got the job, and because they was doing this new newspaper, this regional newspaper, right?
Right.
I saw the note somewhere. I even knows where I saw the note now, and I sent an application. In those days, it's post. In other email isn't, yeah, none of that. So I sent in an application for about 2 months. I didn't hear from them.
Right.
I took a flight, paid a ticket, and went to the nation in Barbados unannounced. And I came to them and I said, I applied for this job and I haven't heard back. And they had me on the spot. And Charles Harden, who was the editor at the time, and who became a very good friend of mine, came to me, visited me in Grenada, came to my wedding, that kind of thing. He said to me a years after, that in those days, the dominant journalist from Grenada was Alistair Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
He said that every intention of hiring Alistair Hughes, they just didn't get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I came in, this young boy, they said something about this guy. He's brave. He left Grenada and came asking him an application. He said, they decided, we'll give this guy a try. So I started writing for Eastern News because of that. And almost every week at the front page. I remember the other journalists in the other islands say, you own a paper. Every week is by Hamlet Mark on the front page.
Well, Hamlet, funny enough, not to cut your trend of thought,
Yeah.
explain to me how they took chances on you. It's kind of reminiscent how you took that chance with me.
Yeah. I was mindful of that. That's why in my life, I always try to give people chances because I was mindful of how many chances people gave.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes not even sure I could do this thing, right?
Yes. Because look at you have Wendy C, you have Marvin Ranks, you have Janice, almost Irvin Simon, almost every media personality right now. Eric McMillan work with you.
Enoch McDonald.
Yes.
Nicole Bess.
Yes.
Michael Bascom.
Yes.
I've done a lot of fellas.
You like the grandfather of the whole thing.
Mike Mitchell and
Yeah, so they took all that piece from you. One story I never understood, Hamlet. I never understood this up to today. And a lot of people sitting here, and I know they want to hear the juicy, but we have to create the capture. We have to create the picture, guys. Hamlet is a storyteller, so we have to start from the beginning. I never understood that transition of YSFM to what became WeFM that we know right now.
But you just jumping ahead. So that's right.
Ahead. No. Okay, so sorry if I jump in too far ahead, but let's transition a bit. If I'm going too far, then bring me back a bit. But I want to understand that transition of YSFM and that WeFM.
Well, first of all, YSFM was there for 4 years, right? And before all of that too, I want to go to something that happened. Right. We started the station. We had a young guy from England who was doing the morning show.
Mm-hmm.
The plan for me was never to go on the radio. I'm not a good speech man and so on. And he came one day and said, I have to go back to England, right?
Uh-huh.
And we sit there and say, well, because we had no transport, so we couldn't get somebody from far outside. There has to be somebody from Munich. Because, who could just walk to the station and in the morning. So he said, well, who could do this? We said, we can't figure it out. And I said, boy, I guess I'm living right next door. I'll try to do it for 2 weeks while I figure it out. Right? And the 2 weeks turned into 4 years. Oh. Right? I was never supposed to be a radio person. I was never good at it. I didn't think I was good. I tried to be smart. I tried to be funny. But I didn't think I was good.
Now, I would say the complete opposite.
Well, the thing is, it started and so on, and then you had this, and people started to like it, and I knew I had a musical taste that was kind of different, and I was bold in some instances and so on. And then they did this survey. A Barbados company, their media survey in Grenada for some company.
Right.
And I came up as the number 2 most popular radio person in Grenada. After Troy, I was like, serious? You take me seriously? So I ended up spending 4 years Because I remember when we had a discussion of me holding up, everybody was saying, myself and Lincoln William Johnson, you're not a radio man, so you can't do that. And I believe that too. I said, yeah, I know, we're going to find somebody quickly. Well, after a couple of weeks, we didn't need to find anybody because it began working very well.
Yes.
Right? And so that started there. And then because we started and we used to have morning show. I used to do the morning 6 to 9.
Yeah.
And then I went to work because I was still working at Voice. And Nico was working at the Ministry of Work, so he kind of left work early to come to open the station back at 4 o'clock. So from 9 to 4, the station was off, right? In the beginning, right?
Uh-huh.
One day, I was closing off, signing off at 9 o'clock. The phone rang, and there's a young lady on the line said, why are you all chatting on the station and you're playing some nice music? I said, because we have nobody and I have to go to work. And she started chatting to me. And then I said to her, what you doing home at this time? You don't work. She said, no, she's written exam results. She does the exam and she's written on results and so on. I said, I like how you sound. You don't think you could do radio? She said, no problem, she'll try. And that person was Wendy Chateau.
Wendy C.
Yeah, Wendy C called, complaining why closing the station down. On the phone, I had her. I said, I like how you sound. Come and check us and let's see what happens. That Wendy came to us when she was 17, and Wendy still works for me today. Everywhere I went, she has been there. YSFM, GBN, and now WPG10.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are so much names, Hamlet. Hazel Courtney. Can't forget Hazel Courtney.
And you know, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of that girl, you won't believe, you know, how well she has done. And we added Rocky, you know. We added Rocky because Hazel was a super talent. But she a little rebellious, right?
Yeah.
Hazel, and at the time, myself and my mother were very good. So Hazel came, and one day I told her she's got to read the news, and she's not reading the news. Are you there? You could read the news. I said, boy, I mean, I will leave Hazel cooking and listen to Hamlet Mark. You got to be crazy. You have to. She decided she's not reading, and she got mad, and she walked off the job.
Wow.
No.
Hazel.
And then she left. She left and go to the United States. Right? And I know she felt because of the relationship we had and had the mother. I think deep down she felt she left on the wrong note.
Mm-hmm.
That girl is so sweet to us, right? She's anything when it comes to something for us, a headphone, some whatever, right? And then of course she's done well for herself and studied and so on. And you know, Hazel is just a sweet girl, you know. I mean, I laugh in my mind to remember that Rocky day when she walked out. I was like, what? I called her mother. I said, you child left the job, you know. Then you're too crazy, you know.
On the programming note, guys, listen, we're talking here with Mr. Hamlet Mark. He's a mentor of mine, guys. I'm very excited to have Hamlet. It's the very first time I've had him on interview here on The Ride. So you could understand why we need to go down the memory lane. I know exactly what you guys want to hear, right? But we can't go there yet because we have to create the foundation to the conversation. Stay. Don't worry. We're going to get to what you need to get to. We have to set the foundation before we build up the house. All right? Yes, Hamlet, you know, everybody just want to hear the politics. We go get there.
Well, I'm not here for the politics.
Yeah. We're telling the story. We're telling the story.
Yeah.
So Hamlet, talk about that move and why you had to move and why the station had to shut down and when.
Well, that was 1995, right? They had we had sold some shares, one, and two, as far as I was concerned, we had three of us who started the station, myself, Andy Crowers, and William Thompson. And I always assume that whatever happens, whoever comes will be partners, because collectively together, we had more than 50%.
Right.
I was a little naive, I guess. I believed in friendship. You know, I always assume whatever format we have, at least we can follow it among ourselves, but will we co together with other people? I turn out to be wrong.
Mm.
Right? And so, without going into this, a lot of stuff happened. And one day I was told, you don't have majority shares in the station again because my partner sold the shares to whoever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's where that was the beginning of the end. And then they tried to move the station to St. George's, and many people rebelled, and they took the transmitter and they took the equipment, and then many people went down there, they shook and took it back, and there was a whole drama of that for a while, literal drama, right? Because the people saw the station as dead. They
Yes.
were more mad than me when the thing happened, and they were, it was such a big thing in the community. I mean, Mr. Kelly, who are the shops, to tell me that we don't know what we've done for this purchase. He said to me one time, and until he said that to me, I never thought about it. He said, I've sat here in my shop because of course the shop wasn't close to the station. We always go there and buy drinks and we want people to come. He said, I've seen stars I never thought I would see in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch Americans, Crossfire, um, Iowa George, John King. I mean, there's a lot of people came up there for interviews, and we most of them all of us end up in the shop after the interviews, drinking and having fun.
Right.
Alison Hines and so on. And he said to me, never thought you'd see that in his lifetime. So I think people in the community cherish that, and they saw the station as their own, right? So that's where the transition came from YSFM to WFM. That is WFM today, right? That is what happened in a nutshell.
Wow. Wow.
You know. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, at that time frame of you being in journalists, right? Did you have any aspiration to be anywhere close to politics or be in that room? Or
Well, I was always interested in politics from a young guy because I grew up in a house where I had a brother who was very interested in politics. I saw him do placards to go to 9-cent food demonstration. I'm a little baby, right? He listened every morning to all the newscasts, BBC and so on. So I trying to play man, as they say. I try to listen with him too and that kind of thing. So I always got interested in journalism, but also politics. Because my first recollection of politics, right, was 1972. I was a tiny child. No, I can't remember the campaign. All I remember is election night. So it was those days GLP and GNP. United Labour Party and Grenada National Party. Also with Blaze and Ben Jones and John Watson, those people are there. And all I remembered from that night, because Gary and GLP had won. And the people around us was mostly GLP people, Garyans, but we were GNP. And all I remember from that night, I never remember the campaigning. I never remember people going to vote on anything. I just remember that night, right? Where there were people, neighbors in our yard jumping up, saying GNP Bam Bam Boss. And my mother lying on the floor, crying and born, oh gosh, not another 5 years ago. The first time I saw my mother cry. And my little mind said, well, I want to get into politics so that my mother wouldn't cry. So I was kind of interested in politics from that night, you know. So I became fascinated with that. And I wanted to be a politician until I started to cover them. And realized they're full of BS. I said, oh, I don't want to be that. You know? But at some point I was very interested in that.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, in what it was, it must have been 1985, the U.S. Embassy sent what they call young potential leaders from around the world to a 5-week, well, not course, we went to various states and went to the capital and learned the US system of government and so I think there's a little brainwashing things. It was the first time I went to the US.
Uh-huh.
So they had 24 of us from around the world, but I was the only one from the Caribbean. I don't know why they selected me, right? And I'm one of the few of that from that thing that didn't end up being frontline politics. My roommate at the time was a guy from Kuwait who became a minister in the Kuwaiti government and was arrested when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. I had a friend from the Vanuatu, what do you call that island? She became deputy prime minister in the thing. So I'm the only failure. I'm the only one who didn't get involved in direct frontline politics in that sense. I just stuck to the media bit. Right? But I always followed politics. I read a lot about politics. There were a lot of political books in my house when I was growing up. Right? Books from Fidel Castro, from Walter Rodney, from Eric Williams. And I was fascinated with books, so I always read them. Even sometimes I didn't thought I'm reading.
Right.
Because, you know? So that is where my fascination, and my father was very politically active. Because, and he was initially close to Ben Jones in those GNP days, and then close to George Bison because he saw George as a son. Because George and my biggest brother went to university together. They were teaching at GBS together, so they're close. So George used to come to my house when I was a little boy, right? George Bison. So when George and Francis and Son had left NNP to form
Was it TNP?
NDC, no, to form NDC.
Okay.
My father was one of the people who used to go to the planning meetings. Because, George was like his son kind of thing. And I used to go with him. I couldn't go to the meetings, those planning secret meetings they were having. I used to go with him to drop him and wait for him. Right? So I knew where they used to meet and so on, and they were planning this NDC thing. And my father used to be there, and I used to be dropping him and waiting for him. Right. I couldn't get into the meeting, of course. I was not at that level. It was above my pay grade in those times. But so I was very close to that kind of thing. Right? And George was very close to the family and so on. And of course, I was involved in journalism and so on. So he always used to, piggyback on me. I remember one time they went to George to Howard Blaze in Carriacou to give him a letter and so on when they were about to quit the government. And he invited me the Sunday morning to the Carriacou. So I was the only media person that went there. In fact, Blaze was so thrilled at the time because he was not Wilkie and so on.
Yeah.
He could not even open the letter that they gave him. I opened the letter for him.
Oh.
And so I was always fascinated by it.
What about this young politician at the time by the name of Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell? What role did he play in that recollection, that time frame?
What, even when the party was forming?
Yeah, during that process. And what was your relationship with Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell at that point?
Well, as a media person to a newsmaker, I interviewed him a lot of times. We were not. He's a politician and a reporter, So we always tap into him for news, for interviews. He was very active. But in fact, my wife used to work with him as an intern, kind of in the communications things, and sometimes she used to invite us. The one used to call him and invite to press conferences or whatever and so on. Right? And so that's how I met the lady and I became my wife. Now, and at the time, I'm hearing that story years later, right?
Right.
I used to be hanging around the ministry because I'm lineman.
Right.
You know, that kind of way. And he had said at the time, apparently at the time, you only have to be careful with Hamlet Mark, Richard Simon, and Lou Smith.
Uh-huh.
Those are the those are the
careful.
those are the two most dangerous journalists in the country.
Right.
And you don't think that they like him. Yeah. I don't think we didn't know much dislike him. He was a newsmaker, and you're covering him like
Right.
everybody else. So that's how. And after that time, I used to go to him every Monday to do interviews because I was always at him, and he always because he was Minister of Works, so he had a lot of stuff, right? And he was obviously very ambitious, so I was always at him. And I remember he finally said, "If I want in any interviews, come at 5 o'clock on Mondays." That's time he's in the afternoon. So almost every Monday I used to go to him for interviews. Right? So
Right.
that's how I come to know him. He always thought he told me that he always say I'm a Breezon boy. But it is what it is.
Right.
I mean, it was not necessarily so. I mean, I do my work as a journalist. I did my work. I mean, I remember when NEC went to power, and then George at some point became prime minister after Bradford. I mean, because he normally bring the government to task. I used to knock George all the time, and I think he couldn't understand that because remember when I passed common entrance,
Mm-hmm.
when I had to go to town for the first time at 10-year-old to buy the books, my father came with me to meet George Breezon at what used to be Pitch Point Bar to go and get the books. So that's how the family we were tied in. So I don't think when he became prime minister, I think he understood why JT's little brother, because JT was giving him so much help.
Yeah.
I literally stopped talking to him.
Oh.
When he became prime minister, George Breezon stopped talking to me until the day of election.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I knew they were losing. He called me out of the blue and said, "How are we doing up there in Munich?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, I ain't sure you're doing well, but I guess you're all hanging in there. I am up on the phone. I told you guys, they're losing. That's a call of desperation. I remember saying that because he didn't speak to me for months. And after the blue election, he called me and asked me, "What's going on in Munich?" Yeah, he was prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
So I always became close to the politics. And then in 1991, before 91. Oh, yeah. Because remember when Kidney challenged Blaze,
Yeah.
right? Blaze formed the TNP. Of course, he remained prime minister.
Yes.
So Dr. Mitchell had NNP and so on.
Him, Ben Jones.
Yeah. Big Ben. Remember Big Ben, Andrew? Well, you're a little boy, you know those guys.
I know Ben Jones.
Right? Norton Noel and so on, those guys.
Yeah.
Right? So they had TNP. And I remember Ben Jones came to Munich because that was the area he was running, right?
Uh-huh.
He came to Munich and I gave him an idea for just casually, an idea for a campaign commercial. I was like, your guys are your message sucks kind of thing. I was like rude like that, and I think I already know your message sucks. This is the line you have to get because TNP was being projected as a weak party.
Right.
So I tell him, use the tagline when the going gets tough, and they come from a rough period in the division and so on.
Right.
When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I say use that as a tagline.
Uh-huh.
And they use that. Right? So you could say that's my first campaign slogan.
Oh.
Just by the shop in Munich, I gave them that idea. But I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot on politics.
Somebody brought up a recollection about Big Ben. We used to say Big Ben bought a bread bun before baking, right in Grenville.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right. Somebody just brought it back to me.
I went to Big Ben when they lost. I went to Big Ben when they lost the election. So I went by him and said, what you have to offer the Pope. He said, he didn't hear. I say, hear what? I was like, one of the, you didn't hear the news? So I say, what news? We lose it though. I said, that, I said, no. I don't give that joke. He said, we lose it though. Like, I don't know, we lose, you know. So that's why it started. And then I did a lot of political commentary in terms of columns.
Right.
And I guess I had some ideas and people took notice of that. And so I got more and more involved in those things, right? I remember, so then you had NNP and NNP1. And of course, we just covering the people.
Right.
I don't think Doc at the time, of course, felt the media was his friend, and that's fine. Most people, when they're in opposition, they like the media and want to get in the government. Because
Right.
they love the media while they're in opposition. Because there's a natural conflict between the media and those in power. I mean, it's just a natural thing. Because they're in power. So you got to put the feet in the fire. It's
Right.
just natural. So I've seen a lot of times the people in the opposition, they love you because you're holding the government accountable. And
Right.
in opposition. And when they become the government, all of a sudden they hurt that.
Yeah.
Because now they're in government and you
Holding them
telling them, yeah. And so this is not personality or even politics. It's just there's a natural tension between those in power and the media. And it has nothing to do with personalities. So the person's option leader who loved you while they becomes prime minister, and all of a sudden they think you are playing in the
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That comes with territory. And as we saying, we don't watch that. I mean, it is, as Trump says, it is what it is until it isn't. I mean,
Yes.
you know.
I was told
Mm.
that the former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Mitchell, had always an affection for media coverage.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you understood that thing. No, of course. And he understood that thing. Go on understanding that. I mean, he, and that's why he became successful. I think because he Doug Blaze and Ben Jones and George Rizan and Francis in this thing. Give him that. Whatever you think about him.
Right.
Now, I think he saw me as a mortal enemy initially.
A mortal enemy.
Yeah, because of course he's a politician and he did the Bandarante thing, and
Yeah.
of course we covered that, and he inputted stones from St. Vincent, and we covered that and gave him looks about that, and so But I think when Blaze fired him from the minister,
Mm-hmm.
right, and he said to me years later, we're not friends. In fact, up to the point of being fired, he was getting a lot of licks in the media from us.
Mm-hmm.
But might have been about a week after, I was hanging out Lemon Appeal on my young boy's line. And I say, a pastor says, I say, well, let me better go and see how he's doing. I haven't seen him since he was fired. And I went in there, and he came. And I say, I come to look for you just to see how you're doing. And I come to ask you a question. I'm in the area, and I said, let me drop by and see how you're doing. And we are not friends. And he always said he was impressed by that because he said once he got fired, the calls dried up. People were afraid to come look for him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I was one of the first one just come. And given our history of battles, I said, I'll just pass to see how you're doing as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think he took a mental note of that. Right? That while we have roles, and his role is a politician, and my role is a journalist covering on something, knock him.
Right.
It is not personal. And there's a personal element that you could deal with. You could go and say, boy, how you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
And I think at the time, because one time he had said to me years later, because we had covered the briefcase story. I mean, wall-to-wall coverage. I mean, I was in the middle of that and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
One time he said to me, all of you are giving me links, but you are different. So I said, well, you're not different. He said, don't think it's personal with me, because I want a few journalists who will meet him
Mm-hmm.
and watch him in his eyes. And we just talk cricket and talk whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought he said to me one time, you just trying to play Mr. Balance, but you're a good guy. And he said to me one time, right? And he said to me, you think I'm different. He think he don't like the charge he get it. He think he's misguided. He think he's getting too much links. Was with me, he didn't think it was personal. Because he just said to me, as a one journalist who meet him, and we just talk cricket, we talk a lot of cricket and so on. I watch him in the eye, we talk. I go back and give him links in the media as the politician and as the reporter. But when I met him publicly or in any setting, it was cool. It was two Grenadians meeting and just old talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I listen. I understood.
Mhm.
Well, I not understood then. I understood now the role that the media and you as a media person played in that, right? But do you get the feeling that, and I'm going to fast track a little bit, what has been the norm where media people cover media stories and they don't necessarily go left or right, they just cover the story. But now we see a lot of innuendos or media stories covered from a vlogging perspective where people are giving their opinions on the story.
Well, those are different, right? I don't call vloggers media people as such.
Vloggers are not journalists, definitely not.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't call you a journalist,
I'm not
but
a journalist.
right,
Not.
right. So they're different, and there are people who talk shows and so on who have opinions and can give opinions, but the media coverage has to be straight down the line.
Right.
I mean, and that's one of the reasons I asked him to pay for a column,
Uh-huh.
because I felt that some ideas I wanted to share with people, but I could not have done that in a news story. That's not the purpose for a news story. You need to be very balanced along the line.
Right.
Yeah. When I started this blog, that was back in 2010, 2010. We had this regional news thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I wanted to say something so I can't say in a newscast, because that's not the rule of a newscast. So I said,
Right.
let me start a blog so I can give my opinion on something.
Yes.
So they are fundamentally two different things, right? I mean, in the system, you'll have people who come on, whether it's on TV or on newspaper, and do a column, do a commentary, and they are columnists, they are commentators, and so on, right? And they have an opinion, and they have a worldview, and that's fine. And they might even be what we might call biased, because we all come with a worldview, eh?
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, anybody who tells you they're completely unbiased, trying to sell you some bad goods, it is not possible. Your influence, Junior, from where you come from,
Mm-hmm.
from the people you know, from the school you went to, from the church you go to, from the sports team you follow, right? All those influence your worldview and
Uh,
all of our worldview. Now, the challenge as media people is to understand your worldview,
Mm-hmm.
but not to be biased with it. So
Right.
not to try to stifle other people's worldview because you feel yours must ascend. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because people talk about politics all the time and so on, right? And it is possible to have a favorite and yet to be balanced in a report. I mean, I use the example every time of the West Indies cricket.
Mm-hmm.
I've covered Test cricket, I've covered this, and I want the West Indies to win, right? But as a person covering the team, I could be fair. I know I have a bias. My bias is that the West Indies is my team.
Right.
The West Indies versus Pakistan in Bangladesh, I madly want the West Indies to win. But I'm conscious of that, wary of that, and manage that personal thing to cover the cricket properly,
Mm-hmm.
right? You take into account, I always go to some secondary school, in Grenada.
Right.
You cover intercolonial one, I want to name it sec to win. But I must not allow that experience to make me lower my journalistic standards in covering the sport.
Right. Let's talk about that integrity of journalism.
Mhm.
In the previous NDC administration, Tillman Thomas,
Mhm.
a lot of people would say that you were one of the individuals that might have been responsible for showcasing or bringing out or outlining what was happening, the internal fight that was happening with that administration. I remember very clearly, I believe Calistro Faria was doing a report, an interview with the then Prime Minister, Tillman Thomas,
Mhm.
asking him about something about the infighting that was happening. And it was done on your platform. She was either you was a camera person, but it was your platform. And that kind of catapult and expose the infighting that was happening inside the NDC at that time. Do you think that at that point in time that you was exhibiting some of your bias?
No, no. We are reviewing the facts. And in fact, I mean, Kalisha is a good journalist and a driving force in that coverage.
Right.
And I never gave her any instructions. I mean, my one instruction to my people, right? Be a journalist and be fair and responsible. And I don't have to like the coverage. I'll give you an example. When I was manager at GBN, there was a strike at GBN, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reporters were there, who were on the work, and we covered the strike. And in the demonstration, they were chanting anti-Hamlet slogans and anti-GBN slogans, and we put it on the news. And people say, "You put it on the news?" See it because it's news. He said, "But they chanting you down." And I said, "So what?" Yes, I said, "Not getting involved in that because it involves me allowing the journalists to do the work."
Right.
Right? And I said, "So what?" I mean, that's a fact that they shut me down in town today.
Right.
I think they full of BS, but that's not the end of the day in the coverage.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time, right? I don't instruct my people, right? My task to people, you cover the news where it leads, you be fair, you be responsible, make sure your sources are credible, and make sure you be tough, but be respectable.
Right.
Be absolutely tough here, but be respectable.
Right.
Right?
Right. So the administration of the then NDC, it imploded in itself. There was major division. Here comes the then Kit Mitchell administration. We're jumping a few guns a little bit, but we are here where after the Tillman Thomas administration failed, he lost all his seat, and Kit Mitchell administration took in at that point in time. You then became an advisor in the administration. As a journalist, how do you come from being
No, I became an advisor in 2013, 2018.
28?
Yeah.
Okay. So
No,
why were you then in that administration?
no, but let me put it away.
Uh-huh.
I have those rules. And what I do, and I use Ken Gunn is one of my mentors, right?
Uh-huh.
And I use Ken Gunn. And I spoke to him for years. Ken Gunn at Trinidad Express and TV6 in Trinidad. Okay? And then he went from that and became a minister. I think Ian Aronson appointed him as a minister in one of the government. So what did I ask him? How do you do that? How do you? Because people will say, no, well, you'll get good coverage, and maybe TV6 and China Express is Robinson people and some because you're part of the government.
Right.
Yeah, and he said, no, he divested himself from it, right? It's like he have no active part to play in it. He doesn't tell the journalists what to cover. Because in fact, he said to me, you see, I get leaks all the time in the Express. And you don't complain, you don't intervene, and so on, because he's a minister, right? He has an interest in the media corp because it's a business and he's an investor.
Right.
But beyond that, he doesn't get involved. And I always use that template, right? Because I become advisor and I do campaign stuff, not just in Grenada, in fact, mostly out of Grenada, really.
Right.
And so during those times, I divest myself from that. During those times, you don't see me doing reports, right? You
Right.
don't see. I look at the thing, right? Anytime I'm involved in a campaign, you don't see me reporting. You don't see me writing a blog,
Right.
right? Because
But
I don't.
would you contradict your boss? Would you go against your boss demand? Because at that point in time, if you're an advisor, he's your boss. You're not going to say anything or publish anything on your media platform that contradicts.
No, that's not true. That's not true. In fact, I got into a lot of trouble when my platform did things, and they say, "But that's your place." I said, "No, the people operate. I allow them to operate, right? I'm not getting involved in that." And that they are formula. I'm not getting involved in that. I mean, you could ask Kalisha. I mean, Kalisha when I was going give hell all the time on my platform and say, "We got to control." I said, "No, she's a journalist citizenship. I'm not getting involved in that." Right? And people understand, I'm not getting involved in that. Right? You know? I mean, to the point where I know people were saying, "Oh, you can't trust Hamlet Mark. He gave us and his system giving us all these leaks." And I don't think they understand. And I said to them, "Listen, you had me, you don't have my thing, you don't have my platform. My platform not for sale."
Right.
Right? I want you to be clear all the time. And I've done that all the time. In fact, sometimes because people can censor themselves. So sometimes when I say, "Boy, the owner of this place, I think that is the man and that is the people who say they might feel, boy, you gotta be careful." I just tell them, "Listen, whatever I am doing here, don't let that influence what you do.
Right.
Do what the trading says you should do."
Right.
Right? And there are times I didn't agree things on my platform. But I'm just a consumer but it's neither here nor there. I'm not going to say that to them because I could have an opinion on something they did or not do, like anybody else.
Right.
Right? But I understand too, I'm in a position where I could influence or not getting involved, not getting involved.
Right. But how do you then separate your mind? Because in '08 administration, weren't you advisor of some sort of provided some service for the then NDC at that point, and then after that the NDC collapsed, then you became some sort of
No, because the other thing, and that's the other thing, I've never worked for a government until that 2018 period for 4 years. Because sometimes I'm involved in campaigns, and at the end, in election night, my job ends, and I go about my business.
Right.
Right?
It's a contract job.
Yeah, and I go about my business. I might go to another assignment somewhere in the world, or I might come back to my normal beat because I'm unemployed or whatever. Right? And so I've never worked the government, and so because I tell people what I did for you in an election is not there's no natural extension. The next morning, me and everybody will cover you as we see fit. And some people I know haven't come to terms with that. Even people have worked for say, "Boy, that guy's something else. That guy was with us, and all of a sudden no." But my world changed. I had an assignment and I delivered the assignment.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I'm back to doing something different, right? And I know you have some people who tap to me because they can't understand it. I said, "No, my job had ended, and I wish you luck. As a friend, I wish you luck, but I can't guarantee it because it will knock you."
Right.
I know some people can't reconcile that. I mean, Look at the last cycle, right?
Uh-huh.
I once again divested myself, and I was involved with the campaign. I had my platform, and Kalisha was there, very doing good job, and knocking the campaign down with every left and center. And
Mhm.
people asking, why don't you shop? I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting involved in that. That's something different. That is an independent operation, and I allow it to be,
Mm.
right? And I never, at no point did I get involved to the point where people accuse me of what? Double billing. Because they couldn't understand what you're working for and your place knocking. No, it's two different things.
But then you have the head, you have the insights. And as a journalist, as a media person, we all want the first story. So you in a position where you could basically capitalize on being in that position because you have that insight. How do you then not choose to use that? But then we benefit.
No, what is you have the inside of what?
Like okay, you would have the insight as to, say for instance, you are the advisor to a particular administration, right?
Mm.
And so you would have insight as to what's happening. You would have behind the scenes knowledge that other media personalities or other media hosts don't have, right? How do you not use that to your advantage to benefit your media house?
Well, no, because if I'm working for you in that capacity, I want your message to go to every media house.
Right.
I mean, that's how I think about it. What's the use of giving only people I'm associated with the school?
Right. I see.
You see what I'm saying? No, I never think about it that way. It's not. You see, in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
I separate those things. So even when my people call me when I'm over there and said, because if you have connections, I want to talk to Junior George, and I want you to check that for me and say, here's his number. You call him.
Right.
Yeah, and you figure it out. You're not getting in the middle of that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And in full disclosure, I did reach out to you in the past, and you directed me to the individual that I need to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I
mean,
for that. I could vote for that. So you are basically on contract working with political organization to advise them on the political strategies because you have a long history, and hence the reason why it's important that we understood your history. You have a long history that is the envy of a lot of politicians who want to get a piece of that, get a piece of your knowledge, to use that knowledge to your benefit. And in fact, it was used to many different political organizations benefit precisely the former administration, all right? Let's talk about the last administration and the role you played, because you was an advisor there. Did anything change then in your coverage and in your media house and how you view and how you broadcast and how you carry stories?
no, because I didn't get involved in that. I didn't get involved in that. To see how people who who um who have different views and different opinions and different worldviews, and that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I don't do a litmus test on who I am. My test is, can you do the job? Are you a good broadcaster? Are you a good journalist? Whatever.
Right.
I don't ask people who you fondly support or where you come from or what's your view. That's irrelevant in that sense, right? Right? And so I don't. I mean, when my people cover stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
I will only have a problem if it's inaccurate.
Okay.
If it's accurate, fine. What I have no problem with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point. If it's accurate, it's fine. Even if I always tell people all the time, I'm here, listen, my brother and girl in a crime. Okay?
Right.
So it's a bad story for the family. Of course, I can cover it because I'm emotionally involved and so on. But if my organization covered it, I wouldn't stop it. I just wouldn't get involved in it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so you cannot separate yourself from that, right? And the only issue I have with anybody was the story accurate and was it fair? I don't sort of like the details.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, right? And then the other thing, because you see people, let me tell you something. I was one of the instrumental people in pushing the government to sell what was GBC and now GBN, right? Because of course, when you GBC, you are literally a department of the government. And I remember I went to the Prime Minister and said, "This thing making no sense."
That's Prime Minister Dr. Kit Mitchell, right?
Yes, this station becomes a propaganda arm of the government that nobody listens to. It's of no use to you, to the country, or to anybody.
Right.
And it's not making money. Diversity, and people got frightened. So how will have country? So what country do you need to have? You need to have a voice like everyone in society. And if you're a proper media house that does its work properly,
Right.
you don't have a problem. You get tough coverage, but you get fake coverage like anybody else. And that's my argument, right? And that is why I set the train and the idea into diversity, into a private station. I remember in the early days, because we, hard habits had to break,
Right.
right? People used to call me like it's old time, like they like if this is a department of the government, and I said, listen, I have a board and I have a chairman, and I suddenly got upset, told the chairman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because this is a private entity. Of course, the government have shares in it, but not controlling shares. So they can go on the board and complain about me or anybody, anything. Fine. Yeah. But when at the end of the day, our job is to be a credible media house in GBN that doing stories. I mean, even before that, and I was giving, and me and Eddie talked about that, Eddie Frederick today. Eddie had shown what was doing GBC.
Right.
And of course, he was knocking the government of the day, right? And I had defended the right to do it, and people couldn't understand. In fact, I was under severe pressure to drop Eddie Frederick's show. And I went to them and said to them, listen, I will resign tomorrow, then drop his show. You see, I don't agree with what Eddie saying, but Eddie has if Eddie has a show, and by the way, it's a paid time, so it's even not planned.
Right.
If Eddie has a show, Eddie has a right to his views, even if we don't like the view. Right? And my one thing I used to tell Eddie all the time, and you could vote for that. Make sure you don't slander anybody. Because of course there are legal things, there are different kinds of fish, right? You can say what you want. Once you're not vulgar, you're not X-rated, and it's not slander.
Right.
And I do have to agree with that thing you say. And that was a government station. And people were, and there were, at one time I thought I was going to lose my job because and in fact, at one time, there was a rumor that the show would be cancelled. And I went on Eddie program to assure the listeners that show will be cancelled. I mean, Eddie, he does rules. So once Eddie followed the rules, basic rules that any media house has,
Right.
he can elaborate as far as I'm in charge. I mean, I can't guarantee I'll be in charge tomorrow. He might change me and then fire Eddie. But as long as I'm in charge, he has a show.
Right.
And he pays, of course, because it was a paid show.
Sherry-Ann Charlton is saying that it's like you're working with the police to stop guns coming into the country, but yet you are the gun runner. I guess she's making that assertion based on the fact that you are working with an administration, yet you are saying that is not, you don't cover them, or the way how you cover them doesn't really affect or impact.
No, I don't cover them or affect because I don't do any coverage. You see, that's what I'm doing. During that time, I've done, I do no coverage. So I don't write. I don't even do a blog, right?
Right.
If you notice, every time I'm in this position, you notice the blog stuffs.
Right.
So I don't use that platform to do that. And you say how I cover them. That I don't cover them. Period. So it's not in a case where I have bad coverage or good coverage or bad coverage. I have no coverage. I don't cover.
Right.
Every time I'm actively involved in those things, I don't cover. I just don't cover.
Right.
Right? And that's the question. I mean, I don't cover. So it's not a case of, well, Hamlet, you're there and you I tell anybody, show me where I did stories when I was actively involved in the campaign. I don't cover. I don't comment. I don't say anything, even good, bad, or ugly.
Right. When you,
Because I don't think it's not. I think it's fair to the reader or the listener to do that,
right. No, you're
right? So I don't cover, right? Um, I mean, what it does when I come back in the mainstream, if I finish my assignment and come back, I mean, I have a few phone numbers. So I could call and get a story, on that, but I don't cover. During my active time, I don't cover.
right. Right.
Right? And I don't get involved in what my people cover in that sense. In fact, when I go say, you don't see what your station or what your newscast said yesterday, and something Jenny, I don't see but I haven't seen, I haven't heard, and so on, and it's neither here nor there. You know, it's neither here nor there.
Hamlet, let's talk about the last election. Let's talk about the last election. Based on your worldview and the way how you cover politics and the way how you understand politics in Grenada, what went wrong as far as the former administration? What, in your view, they were supposed to have done or supposed to do that did not
Even you want to talk about the campaign?
in terms of the campaign?
I don't want to talk about that now in that kind of detail.
Okay.
I mean, you'll preempt my book here, see what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
I I mean,
So there's a book coming. That's interesting.
I mean, I live that assessment right now. People like you
Yeah.
who are covering those things and see campaigns unfold and have a view.
Right.
Right? I remember Kalasha went on the TV and says it's one of the worst campaigns you've seen, which I guess is a knock on a box. So that's why I cry, just smile. That's cool. No,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, and that's all right. That's all right.
But you said in your vlog, and let me say this vlog here, it read like a novel, like a movie, like a Netflix series. I mean, it's long, but it's very insightful, and it's deliberate. And I think every single word that you put there, you deliberately put those words, right? And one of the things that you said in there is that, in full disclosure, the One for the Road concept was sold to him by you.
Yeah.
That was an advice. So you played an active role in advising the decision of the campaign. So of course, you would have an opinion as to why didn't that work?
Of course, I have a lot of opinions on why doing that work. Yeah. Because that was only part of the message. When you have a half message, something just doesn't work. They don't work because it was not meant to be a full message. It was just part of a narrative that just wasn't spelled out, and I just leave that there.
Right, right. Guys, we're chatting here with Hamlet Mark, and again, he penned one of the most deliberate and direct, I don't know if some people might deem it as a condemnation of the former administration. The title of it is the NDC Stage 5 Cancerous...
The NNP.
The NNP, sorry, Stage 5 Cancerous Anti-Democratic Tumor. So let's take it from that point of view, Hamlet.
Well, why don't you promote the blog and let everybody go read the blog?
I want them to read it. I have posted on Ride Along, and I also will tag your blog post, and I want everybody to go and read it. I think a lot of people read it already. It has over 100 comments and 90 something shares, and that's just on my platform. Thousands of people read it. So I want them to go ahead and read the entire vlog. It's very deliberate in terms of how Hamlet put his words together, and every word is in place, by the way. Hamlet has that skill that he don't miss a syllable. If he don't want to put that there, he's not going there. Everything is deliberately done. What was the reasoning behind this vlog, Hamlet? I know you don't want to get too deep into it, but
unlike all of those things, right?
yeah,
I don't plan those things, and that's why my blogs are kind of infrequent,
right,
and something comes just by accident or by inspiration.
right.
So I didn't know why did I publish that? It was 2 days ago.
You
At
probably
midnight that night, I didn't know I was going to write a blog. Right? I had no plans. My plan was to get up early in the morning at 3 o'clock, 4 and do my normal stuff and so on. And I got up with this just this idea. Right? I got up with just this idea because I think I read something the day before, somewhere. I kind of saw a seed in my thing, and I was busy all day, so I didn't give it much thought. But something just saw a seed in your head kind of thing.
right.
And I got up this morning and just started to write. So 5 minutes before that time, there was no plan to write anything.
Really?
And I started to write, and within half an hour, the thing was finished. So one sit down, I just wrote, and the thing was finished. And what you saw is the first draft.
First draft.
Yeah. In half an hour, it was finished. And half an hour before that, I had no plans of writing anything. My day was didn't include writing a vlog that day. It was finished. And you know what I said? So I'm not writing and showing to people. I ain't sharing anybody else posting it. I don't want anybody telling me anything. I don't want anybody telling me, boy, don't say that. You sure you want to say that? Be careful with that. Sometimes I'm like that. I want no outside influence. So I just hit publish. And I said to myself, well, there it goes. What happens, happens. So there was no plan. There was no, motivation. You might say more inspiration, more, you get up and have an idea, and you it's like when I do poems, I guess people who sometimes write songs, you get up and just have an idea and just write a thing. It comes like that sometimes, natural.
Right.
Yeah. As I said to you, I didn't know I was going to write a blog an hour before that. And I don't know when I'll write another blog, because a lot of those things, if I sit here today and I say, well, I must write a blog tomorrow, 9 out of 10 times it wouldn't happen.
It won't happen, right?
Most of the things I write just come from inspiration or some crazy song music. Sometimes I listen to a lot of rock music and get crazy idea from some metaphor I hear in a rock song.
Right.
That give me an idea for something. I just go right to the computer and start writing, because if I don't do it that time, it will never happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Do you believe that with your insight and inside knowledge, and back to what I was saying earlier, you had inside influence, you had inside knowledge, and some of it showed here because you was a part of the.
And that's a different, because sometimes, and I tell you, the sun won't shine tomorrow.
Right.
And you might say, well, that guy is a crazy guy. How will you know that? But because I've some background and insight that I cannot explain the details, but that influenced me of the view that it's not shining tomorrow. And people might say, well, this guy is crazy, right? But sometimes there are other things, politically and otherwise, sports-wise, even entertainment-wise, I had some insight that a lot of people didn't have, which color my opinion and interpretation of an event.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I come in a sense from that knowledge base. Right? So I might say that the former prime minister is not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a flippant comment. It's not a throwaway opinion. It's a thing based on solid evidence that I've seen and have over a long period of time
Right.
that have me form that opinion.
Right.
So to the casual reader, it might look like I'm not just throwing some shade or being nasty or whatever.
Right.
Because how can you come to that conclusion? And I can understand people saying that because they don't have the thing that based my opinion that I have,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as the young people say, watch that space and tell me a year from now if I was right or wrong. That's all.
But when you were advising, and there was a slogan that was used by the campaign, "One for the road," which I'm sure probably you had a hand in that as well, right? When you say "one for the road," and the assertion was that that's the last one, and I'm going to be out, right?
Yeah, like in the rum shop, when you're drinking and you're about to go home, you're going
Right.
home. So
Uh-huh.
let's take the last one, right?
Right.
You know that whole concept. So that came from that rum shop concept.
But did you
That,
know? Did you know that it was not real then?
well, I was hoping it's going to be real, but you know, no, actually, when the idea came to me, and the idea had come from a foreign political advisor
Right.
who had not done any campaign greater. And I was casually, but how do you promote somebody who's been there for a long time,
Uh-huh.
whose polling show people getting tired of? But he's running again. It's just a reality, he's running again, right?
Right.
How do you position that? And he said, well, something like give the notion that this is somebody wrapping up the career and so on. And he said, well, the wrong traffic to say one for the road.
Right.
So he said that to me, and that thing stayed there for a while. And, it's like, I keep saying, well, I keep thinking, no, I said, that's not a bad idea after all. But then I was absolutely fearful to visit to him.
Uh-huh.
So I thought he rejected as out of hand.
So he said, "Doc, one for the road." What do you
No,
think?
no. So I didn't raise it for a long time. I didn't say anything about it. I just think they will never adapt. They will never adapt that. But at some point, I begin to feel he needs to do that. So I sent back to the police and visited him. But I visited him in the context that, remember, you hinted before you're going and you haven't gone. So you have a believability problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just say you're going to go. You got to explain a plan of how it's going to happen
Right.
and when it's going to happen. But that explanation never came. So that's the part of it that never came. So that's why I tell the thing was a kind of have big idea in the air.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he didn't get his full effect. And so that's what it's at. And I have my own theories why that was so, but that was it for the book.
That did you know early going into the campaign, or in the middle of the campaign, or whenever part of the campaign, that it was going to be a loss for the campaign?
Well, let me say that I came in very late in the game,
Mm-hmm.
very very late, right? And I had no interest. Well, I had no intention of doing anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
A number of people solicited me, and for months I said, "No, I'm not doing that." Right? I said, "So why is people going election and say I'm covering it?" Right? Right? And some mutual friends of mine insist, no man, you gotta do this, right? And the prime minister, to his credit, I guess, was right. He was not interested in that. And then I said, I cool with that. So then on the same boat. And guy said, no, you gotta do this. Yeah. And Martin Wilson, so once I tune in, I'm gonna give it my all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I tuned in and gave it my all.
Right. I want to open up the phone lines because there are a lot of questions here.
And I mean, and I was not in charge of anything. I mean, that is a myth. I was not in charge of anything.
You was not in charge of managing the campaign?
No. I was just on role player. No, I was not in charge.
Well, I remember calling because at that time, it seems like the platform was branded in one way or another. And I reached out and I said, well, if this platform is branded left or right or this side rather than that side, it would be a good opportunity for the campaign to put some ads over here. And to
and I wanted the ads to come by you.
Why was it that nobody came? Why was it that nobody from the former administration even venture off to sit on this platform to have an interview?
Because that was decided by other people. If I had anything to do with it, it will happen.
So they plainly, boldly decided that it just wasn't going to happen.
Well, I mean, there's remember, I do forget that all the time, right?
Uh-huh.
They didn't come on my TV station. People forget that. These people refuse to come on my TV station. And people who watch that remember. Mm-hmm. See, people pay attention to those things. Emily Pierre came once. Mm-hmm. After I insisted and cried or whatever, a curse or whatever. She came once and Cox came twice. Nobody else came. Mm-hmm. And the official position is that we're not dealing with WPD. And that's why I tell you how I separate those things. No, I think it's a mistake. But I didn't want people to pushing it because I'm of course associated with that and I want some scoop or want anything. So I just left it as it is. Mm-hmm. Right? So you are not alone. These former nation people didn't come on WPT then. And I think people know, if people watch closely, they'll notice. I mean, I was telling somebody last night. It is strange because people form a view of things.
Right.
And they feel what their view is the gospel. If they notice things, they'll understand things differently. Kit Mitchell has never granted an interview with WPB10 for about 3 years. Right? Mm-hmm. Peter David has not granted WPB10 an interview for about 3 years. He has gone on Kellenbaum, he has gone on MTV. And not for the heck of me getting to come. And people say, Peter David is my friend, I'm always influenced. I say, boy, I can't influence him to come on WPB10.
Yeah, the talk is that's your boy.
Yeah. And I have other friends in politics on all sides, on both sides. And Peter is a close friend, but he's not even the close friend I'm in politics in Grenada. It's a funny thing. He's not even the close friend I'm in politics in Grenada. Mm-hmm. But I leave them to be politicians, and I do my work. Right? Mm-hmm. When you see him, tell him, come here, come on WPT10, because I've been able to get him. And a number of my other so-called friends on both sides, on NBC side or NBC side, to come. Right. And I don't hold it against them. They decide. They make a decision. I mean, it's not a grudge I hold. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. Because they have to make whatever decision they want to become that they think is in their own interest. Right. And then I think it's a mistake, but that's just my personal view.
So, what is right, or why is this point in time the period, the time that you chose to come forward with this particular vlog?
Well, you see, another thing, because people always assume that there's this great plan, and I decided on that date I'll go up, and that's the point. That's the fundamental point, Junior.
Right.
I did not know the night before I go to sleep I was going to write a blog in the morning.
Right.
It was not on my. In fact, a lot of people have said to the months and years about a lot of things, but you're surprised when you're writing a blog. I say, when I get some inspiration.
Right.
Right? And so it was not a plan. It maybe it's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of my life not planned. You know me.
Right. Yeah. Sporadic. That's
So I mean, it's not a plan. It was not a plan. I couldn't tell you on Sunday that Tuesday there may have a blog. If I said it, I say, no, I ain't think so.
Right.
There was no plan. I get those spots of inspiration, maybe whatever you want to call it, and every now and then I put those things down.
Right.
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 I and sometimes I'm not even sure if it's good. Sometimes when people tell me that is very good, and I kind of like, really? Because sometimes I don't even judge. I don't even know if it's good. And sometimes I just put it out there for what it's worth. Sometimes I'm not even sure it makes sense. I know that the body is very good. Sometimes I'm also embarrassed. Because sometimes I write it in, I put it on and say, Lord of mercy, I shut down my phone because I'm not sure this is good enough.
Right.
And then when people call and say, boy, this is very good, I can't. You giving me a basket or what? No, man, this is very good.
Right.
I mean, so I cannot operate in those kind of spontaneous way. Right?
Did you get a call from the former Prime Minister? Did he contact you about
no. No. I didn't expect him to, but
Right. Are you in the doghouse as far as with the former administration? Because you did call a lot of names. You was on my good friend Kim program yesterday.
Well, I don't know if I'm in the doghouse, and it's not a hen or there. I mean, it's not a hen or there. I mean, people decide how they want to react. People decide how they want to treat me, and that's fine too. That's their right. I mean, the only place I worried about being in the doghouse is in my home. But other than that, I could be in the doghouse anyway. It's not a hen or there.
Yeah.
I mean, Julia, if you know me, you know how to take those things on, I mean, something I think people take themselves so seriously. And one of my strengths or maybe weakness is I don't take myself very seriously.
I see.
I do those things and I just, for what it's worth, and I'm not bitter with anybody. I'm not mad with anybody. I mean, I just write this thing, and for what it's worth, and some people might agree and some people might disagree, and that's fine. And that's fine too.
Said a lot as well. Because yesterday, you spoke about Emmeline Peer. And Emmeline Peer, it seems as the notion is she is going to be the next party leader if there is a vacancy.
And that's fine. I mean, she has a right to learn to be anything. All right. And Emmeline is somebody in politics I've known from teenagers, long. And I see, and the amazing thing with some of my relations with the people in politics.
Yeah.
Right? The Hamlin Cares of this world and the Delma Thomases of this world. I knew these people when they were babies. And so my friendship with them was before politics and was survived politics. And they politicians and they do what they do. And I'm in the media sometimes and do what I have to do. And sometimes they are mortified about the things I say about them and the organization. And that's fine, but the friendship is not broken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I call it sometimes, Junior, I cuss you about programs you've done.
Yeah, you did. You did. But
the friendship was not broken. And so we are hating debate.
Yes, that's fine.
But the friendship is not broken, and you disagree with me and I disagree with you, and that's cool too. You don't have to agree with me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's not we don't have a beef. We don't debate about something and we agree to disagree, and that's fine. And next time we cool, let's have a drink or we talk about something else or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm too disorganized. Right? I'm too disorganized to be upset with people. Because to me, takes an effort.
Uh-huh.
I'm too disorganized and busy. And I have to remember when I see I'm upset with you.
Right.
Just see how fucking I'm upset. So I'm not that organized.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me open up the phone lines really quickly, guys. I know we were up to that time. Hamlet, we've been speaking for almost 2 hours. And you
No. I have to go. What time it is?
have to go, Lord, Hamlet, can I take just 2 calls? There's 5 minutes. Let's take a call. I know that people
No.
will kill me if you don't take a call.
It is 7:50. You said we're going to be here for an hour. We've been here for 2 hours.
See the whole conversation going so sweet. Let's open up the phone lines, Hamlet.
Who do I send email to? Right along our accounts department?
Send it to right along our comms department. 718-701-5720. Give us a call right now, guys. Quickly. There might be some stuff that you want to talk to Hamlet about. And I know the phone lines, what people have been calling, I just was avoiding any calls because there was so much to talk about. So we open up the phone lines now, guys. 718-701-5720. Hamlet has to run. But I want to take this call. Let me see if I could bring that in as soon as the first call comes in so we don't get charged overtime. More overtime again. 718-701-5720. That is the number. Let us talk. Talking to Hamlet Mark here. Been speaking to Hamlet Mark for the past hour and a half or so. Hamlet Mark is a journalist extraordinaire. A lot of people revered Hamlet Mark. Hamlet Mark is like the grandfather, I would say, of a lot of the media fraternity. Myself and many others basically came through the grassroots because of Hamlet. He have done a lot. In recent, Hamlet Mark posted this very popular blog post that is making its round on social media, and it's really good. So you guys should go and check it out. And it basically seems like a condemnation to the former administration. A lot of people see it like that. So we want you guys to go and check it out. In the meantime, guys, I'm still opening up the phone lines if you want to call in 718-701-5720. Let us go. Let us talk. Pose your question right now. 718-701-5720, guys. I don't know if I'm saying the number too fast, but we don't have much time. 718-701-5720 is still here with Hamlet Mark. In fact, let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we open up the phone. We take the first call. We'll be right back.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot-type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up. Several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
All right, guys, and we are back. Get our first caller on the line. Caller, live, where are you calling us from?
New York.
New York, go right ahead.
All right, I'm just calling to compliment Hamlet Mark because you see, one of the problems we have in Grenada, through our narrow political views and the way we look at things, narrow political perspective, we diminish treasures. Hamlet is a national treasure in Grenada, regardless of whatever you think about his politics. He has single-handedly created a generation or generations of media practitioners, which is a crucial component of the media and democracy. So he has impacted the lives of the whole of Grenada in some way because he holds the politicians to account. He holds them to the fire, regardless of which party is in power. Yeah, he may have his friends as politicians, but he's one of the genuine, authentic, organic Grenadians who has contributed significantly. And that is a fair comment. Most people, regardless of what you think, don't really have anything bad to say about Hamlet because he's that genuine. So I think we have to recognize a national treasure when we see him. He's making a massive contribution, and I say this with no hesitation. And if we ought to know his history, where he comes from, what he has done is impact the YSFM and all the generational contribution he has made to put all media practitioners in the field, I think we'll have a better appreciation. And I think the fact that he gave us this history, this should be recorded and people should understand who Hamlet Mark is, because a lot of people who come up now and start to know about the politics, they don't have a clue as to the history of Grenada's politics. They make social media give them the opportunity to make these ignorant conclusions. So I just want to make this plug for Hamlet, and so that people can understand and appreciate that we do have a national treasure in journalism across the world, the Western Hemisphere. He's highly rated as one of the best, and we understand that. Thank you. Good night.
So hold on, bro. And it was important that I have this conversation here with Hamlet. I watched the comments, and everybody, this is a history lesson. We would have gone to history class. It's important, and it was important. And I purposely did this conversation that way because I wanted people to understand Hamlet. I think sometimes Hamlet get the shitty end of the stick, if you put it like that. People don't know his history.
One of the problems is that we always say give somebody their flowers, and then we wait until they're dead, and everybody started saying, "Oh yes, and he was a good man, and he made a good contribution," and so on. So we cannot decide, we cannot extend beyond the parameters of politics to say somebody's a good man. It's just like Keith Mitchell. Keith Mitchell made valid contribution, but he's a bit of a scamp. Tillman Thomas made good contribution. He's a bit of a scamp, right? Eric Matthew gave good contribution. He was a bit of a scamp. So we have to look beyond our narrow view and give people the credit. All of us have our weaknesses as human beings, but we have to look beyond those parameters and give Grenadians their credit. When they give them the flowers while they're alive, not when they're dead, everybody jumping up and going to funeral. Oh, these are good men, all this kind of nonsense. No, sir. Give them his flowers now, and give the people the flowers who deserve the flowers. Give them the flowers.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel we did a little bit of giving you flowers today in Hamlet.
Yeah, like I'm about to die on.
You better not. You better hide the money.
That's the police calling me money if I wake up, you know.
No.
Yeah, I got it frightened now, man.
No, it was important. It is important, guys. The phone line's open, by the way. It is important that we have this conversation. You know, people like, they want the sensationalism, right? And I don't blame people for wanting the sensationalism. And we could sit here and, people want you to bash this one or bash that one. It doesn't have to go down like that. We could have a civil conversation and learn something about a man than a bashing conversation. And still there's 700 plus people on the live. So that speaks a lot, Anyway, guys, let me take one more call, please, now, Hamlet. I beg. 718-701-57.
I messed up on my appointments.
Okay.
I didn't realize that was so late. I mean, we talked.
You're watching your clock? You see?
We went over time. We went an hour over time.
We did. Okay. All right, guys. Hamlet, I'll let you loose. Because I want you to get in more problems.
I have a few people in my office fretting because I do have
really? Oh, shoot. Sorry. All right, guys. All right. Hamlet, thank you so much. Last words, closing words before you leave.
I mean, thank you for having me. You have a platform, and you have to be responsible with it. Sometimes I've told you I ain't always agree with all the things you do. But
I understand.
I will always come at you, but in a friendly way. You know what I mean? But it is what it is until it isn't.
Yes.
But glad for having me. I see
Lydia, a whole bunch of your fan base is there.
Judy said I'm always late. Oh God. Tell Judy I used to love that girl. I don't love her anymore. But thanks for having me, Junior.
Yeah, man, they're expecting you coming and cussing people. Next time, Hamlet, come and just start cussing people. Probably people go say, "Oh, yeah, that was the show. That was the show. You cuss a lot of people." Oh,
actually, a friend from St. Vincent just said some things. Who said, "Hey, he said, when I'm coming back for a long time, girl, we'll see."
Appreciate you, Hamlet. We'll keep in touch. Keep doing your thing, all right? And I used some of your clips from the program yesterday, from the coverage with Father Paul. Definitely give you credit for that. Good coverage of that story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hamlet. We'll keep in touch, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was Hamlet Mark, guys. We still open up the phone lines for you and your calls right now. And I'm watching in the chat, and I'm watching all your comments, right? I'm watching all your comments. What I did say, guys, and I never break a promise yet, right? I never break a promise yet, and I don't intend to. This is what the headlines read. The Hamlet Factor. The Hamlet Factor. Learning about the role that Hamlet Mark has played and continue to play in politics and in journalism. Now, we had a whole mouthful of Hamlet and his conversation with Kem Jones, my good friend Kem Jones, yesterday. And this was not going to be a replica of Kem Jones' interview, right? I could put a link to the Kem Jones interview yesterday, and you could go back and you could watch that in full details. But we were not going to replicate the interview, the conversation. Now, what you guys heard here today, what you guys watch here today, is something that have never been done in the extent that it was done here on this program. And this will be treasured for many, many, many years. So for those of you who said, I'm waiting for the juicy part, if you missed it, you were waiting and looking for the wrong thing, right? I don't know what you wanted bad word to pass. You wanted people to start cussing 4-letter words. It wasn't going to be like that, guys. And we wasn't going to run a replica of this program with my good friend Hamlet Mark. All right? So, let me big up right now, Geneva's Cottage, guys. Listen to me. If you're in Grenada, ladies and gentlemen, and you're looking for a place to stay, to rest your head, one of the best spots to lay your head, guys, is a place called Geneva's Cottage, located in the Woodlands area. They have long-term and short-term stay. It's approximately 5 minutes from Grand Anse Beach, Maurice Bishop International Airport, SGU. Call this number right now and contact Geneva's Cottage at 347-355-6305 or 473-403-6439. That's 347-355-6305, sorry. Call right now and book your long-term or short-term stay at Geneva's Cottage, located in the Woodlands area. Whenever I'm in Grenada, guys, I stay right there. So this is ride along, so this is your stay along, right? You want to stay someplace for a long time or a short time? Call Geneva's Cottage right now. The number again, 347-355-6305. Also, listen to me. Listen. So we are just partnered with Instaprint Grenada. I'm talking about ride excursions and tours. I just partnered with Instaprint Grenada to provide instant printing of T-shirts, vests, hoodies, cups, what have you, Instaprint. And the good thing about it is you could walk into the mall and get your T-shirt printed in 30 minutes or less. But there's another level to Instaprint and the service that Instaprint Grenada is providing. If you're looking for a blank T-shirt, any color of blank T-shirt, you could also get it there at Instaprint. They're located inside the Esplanade Mall, right? It's inside of the ride excursions and tours. It's right in there. Now, if you're looking for a T-shirt for your teens, school, Form 5s, these are the T-shirts for the final assembly, guys. There are so many. Pick your design, any design, and get your T-shirt printed for the final assembly. Again, you could call. The number that you call is 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Mention you heard this ad on Ride Along. Just say, I heard this ad on Ride Along. And they go hook you up. So if you're a Form 5 or you have a family member in Form 5, check them out. 473-422-1011. That's their number. Call them right now. They have wicked prints, man. Let me tell you, 24 hours or less. And of course, the Form 5s, it's the opportunity to be early and get in your class of 2024 T-shirts printed We'll be right back.
Savings with Cathwell Stationery Services' unbeatable Easter Flash sale. Imagine slashing your office cost without compromising on quality. Yes, you heard it right. For a limited time only, dive into exclusive deals like copy paper at just $18 per ream and up to 18% off on essential office and school supplies. From sleek laptops and tablets to vibrant markers and highlighters, from sturdy office furniture to the latest office machines, Cathwell's has it all. Don't wait. Call us now at 442-5848 or 435-2277 or drop us an email at cathwellsoffice@gmail.com. Hurry! The Easter Flash sale is for a limited time only. Cathwell Stationery Services, where savings, selection, and service come together for you.
Yeah! Let me tell you about Ride e-bike excursions and tours now. Give me a little bit of your ear. Let me tell you about Ride e-bike excursions and tours. Now, Ride e-bike excursions and tours is the fastest growing excursion company in Grenada. Listen to me. You could walk into the Esplanade Mall, guys, and rent an e-bike and do your thing, go shopping, whatever, drive around, whatever. You could rent a bike for an hour, for the whole day. It doesn't matter. Get your e-bikes. In fact, guys, this Sunday, we are going off to St. Mark. So if you want to go on an excursion, an e-bike excursion to St. Mark, you have to book now because the numbers are limited. The bikes are limited. Now we have about 2 bikes left. Call 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Let me put the numbers there. 473-422-1011. Call that number right now, guys. Where's the number? Right there. And rent an e-bike. Get a family, get a friend. Say, listen, we're going on a ride today. We're going on a ride. But it's a ride? What are you talking about, ride? Yeah, we're going on a ride e-bike. And the good thing about this, guys, you don't even have to paddle in on. It has power, so it's a power. You zoom up hill and thing. It's wicked, it's bad. It's only Lois, JJ and them that can ride bike and them kind of thing and them. But the rest of all you, get all the ride e-bike. Go into the kiosk tomorrow and rent an e-bike. Is only $30 an hour. $30 an hour. Let me tell you, man. It's all about the ride e-bike excursions and tours.
For an exhilarating adventure? Then look no further than Ride Excursions and Tours. Get ready to explore the great outdoors like never before with our powerful e-bikes. Discover breathtaking sightseeing tours around the island. Feel the wind in your hair and experience nature in its purest form. Now, whether you're a seasoned rider or a beginner, our e-bikes are perfect for everyone. Call us at 473-422-1011 to book your excursion or visit ridersebikes.com. That's ridersebike.com to reserve your spot. Unleash your adventurous spirit with Ride Excursions and Tours, where every journey becomes an unforgettable adventure.
You see what I'm telling you? It's all about ride. It's all about JetBlue. Woo! Yeah, guys, listen. If you're planning to take a trip down to Grenada, the beautiful Spice Isle, go on JetBlue.com and check the airfare now. Great fares, easy booking. Jump on a JetBlue, get to Grenada in 4.5 hours. JetBlue.com. Guys, listen, if you want to advertise on Ride Along Live, you want to send your business viral, stop keeping your business a secret. Advertise on Ride Along Live. It pays to advertise.
Us and reach millions daily, weekly, monthly. Yeah, over 10 million per month. It pays to advertise with us. Reach more and let us send your business viral. Advertise with us and reach more.
Yeah. So remember I was telling you guys about if you're looking for blank t-shirts, call this number right now. It's called Instaprint. So if you want to get your stuff printed on the t-shirts, you could get that. If you want to get blank t-shirt, you could get that. It's all about Instaprint inside of the Esplanade Mall, right inside the Esplanade Mall. Go check them out, man. Go check them out. Go and check them out. Hey, let me big up Sheba Sunshine Daycare Center, 24-hour daycare, you know. Now, if you have a kid from 3 years old and up, they provide safe and loving environment for early morning care from 6:30 a.m., after care, 2:30 and overnight, weekends, date night, holidays, and all occasion. Call right now. Call for inquiries, 473-537-8299. Call Sheba Sunshine Daycare Center, 24 hours. Call them right now. Tell them, listen, when you call Sheba right now, call Sheba now. Ring up your phone. Call Sheba and say, listen, Junior tell me call you. Say, why you tell me to call you? Say, Junior tell me to call you. Because I'm going out on a date with my husband and I want somebody to watch my child in a safe location. And that is why Junior tell me to call you. So call Sheba now. 473-537-8299. Or stick the number on your fridge. You're going to need it. Sheba! Yeah, the number again for Sheba is 473-537-8299. Call her right now. Right now. Guys, don't forget, if you're looking for Fire Stick, right? You're looking for a Fire Stick? You know, Ride Along Live is on Fire TV. So you can get your Fire Stick, plug it into your TV, and voila! Fire Stick is also available at the Ride kiosk right there in the Esplanade Mall. Check it out. And also, if you have a Fire Stick now, just go in today and search for Ride Along Live and download our free Fire TV app inside the Fire TV store. Ride along! So I tell all you everything. I tell you about the e-bike thing. Get your e-bike, rent your e-bike. Tomorrow, just go inside at the mall, rent your e-bike. 99 EC per day. Carry back by 5 o'clock and you're good. You're good. You feel me? You feel me? Call 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Right, e-bike, excursions and tours. This week we're going to St. Mark. Book now, 473-422-1011. We're going to St. Mark this Sunday. Yeah. Let me thank our producer, everyone on Team Ride Along Live. Guys, listen. I watched your comments today, and I understand, and still understanding what you guys wanted to hear. Now, I believe that the conversation that was conducted today will be a historical recollection, a historical conversation that many people would watch for years and years and years. They probably would even study this man, Hamlet Mark, how he's able to do all the things that he did. A lot of you guys wanted to hear about the fallout, and I could guarantee you that a lot of you wanted to hear about the visceral or the separation or the fighting or whatever the case might be. But we already had my brother Kem Jones who did a full in-depth interview. I'll put the link over to that. You could go and watch the whole thing, right? And this was not going to be a replica of that interview. I respect what the conversation that my brother Kem Jones had yesterday. And this is Ride Along Live where everyone have a story to tell. So I hope you appreciate the way how we compile this conversation, although you might want something in particular at a particular time, but that's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. We still have to construct the program in a chronological manner so people would understand the full story, and that's what we're attempted to do here tonight. Thanks again, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program. We appreciate you. Don't forget to get your T-shirts or get your T-shirt printed at the Instaprint that's located inside of the Esplanade Mall. Thank you. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. I'm gone. Bye-bye.